President Jacob Zuma. So the President is making his way up onto the stage, and he's going to deliver a message before we start the conversation. Don't forget, you two at home are able to be part of that conversation. Mr. President, good to see you again. Welcome. There we go. Podium. I think it's... Oh, no, we'll do that just now.
Rapiki.
I was trying to negotiate.
Yes.
So, thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much for the opportunity. The President of the BBC, the leadership of the new age. I don't know what it means, but it must be saying something. Fellow South Africans and friends, good morning to all of you. I'm pleased that the Black Business Council has heeded our call to develop a black industrialist across many sectors of our country. I remember raising concern that there were no black industrialists in the country when we last met last year. The theme of your 2012 summit, economic transformation and its role in industrialization of black firms, is very strategic and instructive. Other than the lack of black participation in the industrial sector, the theme also speaks to the fact that over the last few decades, our economy has been undergoing major structural changes that threatened to de-industrialize the economy. Research indicates that while countries such as Chile and India have achieved sustained growth through rapid industrialization, African countries and African economies have failed to industrialize. We must seize the moment now and promote manufacturing as the backbone of our industrialization drive for sustained economic growth. The launch of the flagship Black Industrialist Development Program is a quick and timely response. For its part, government has adopted the National Industrial Policy Framework and the Industrial Policy Action Plan. Our new growth path and action plan identifies the manufacturing sector as one of the key programs to aid economic growth and job creation. That is why we encourage you to do everything you can on this path. We encourage you on this path as a lot of progress is already being made. Government has created a number of instruments to promote manufacturing. For an example, the Automotive Investment Scheme worth 2.69 billion rand has been instrumental in securing approximately 15 billion rand investment commitments from assemblers, and component suppliers. This demonstrates an overwhelming vote of confidence by global automotive companies in South Africa's policy framework and capabilities. Our clothing, textile competitiveness program has effectively stabilized a deeply vulnerable sector. To date, approximately 300 million rand has been dispersed to protect 50,000 jobs in the sector. South African companies, namely Fuchini, Truworths, and Edicon, have committed to procuring 70% of their merchandise domestically. This is a very important example of public and private sector cooperation in the national interest to grow the economy and to save the jobs. The value of the IDC's funding approval has increased by 55%, with 13.5 billion rand committed to support investment in 268 companies. In addition, an amount of 6.1 billion rand has been spent by the IDC to support companies in distress as a result of adverse economic conditions. Through the South African Revenue Service, we are stepping up our efforts to stop the flow of unwanted and illegal imports of goods into our country. We are also vigilant against illegal business practice such as under-invoicing and the importation of substandard products which undermine local manufacturers. Government also remains committed to address others and equally pressing policy issues such as the broad-based black economic empowerment. While we have registered impressive progress with respect to BBBEE, especially in the areas of financial services and mining sectors, manufacturing is stubbornly lagging behind. We also need to align the BEE codes with the industrial strategy. We therefore welcome the DTI proposal for a specific financing mechanism to fund majority black-owned manufacturing companies. This is one of the measures you should consider as you discuss strategies to boost black-owned and controlled industries as part of economic transformation. Esteemed compatriots, we cannot escape the fact that we are meeting during a difficult economic climate locally and abroad. While we were still recovering from the 2009 economic crisis, we have been hit by another global crisis affecting Europe and the United States, our strategic economic partners. The European Union and the USA are the main importers of South Africa's manufactured goods. They collectively import 38% of total manufactured goods. It can therefore be expected that exports of manufactured goods will be adversely affected by the current crisis. Adding to the negative global economic outlook are the internal challenges. The ongoing strikes in the mining sector have had a significant effect on the economy in 2012. As of mid-September, the National Treasury estimated that the total rand value of production lost in platinum and gold mining has been roughly 4.5 billion rand, while 118 million rand was lost in coal. The strikes have spread to other sectors such as manufacturing, logistics, and services. The announced municipal worker strike could include most of SAMU's 190,000 members. This will add to 75,000 miners who are on strike, as well as 20,000 truckers. Our economic data does not indicate a significant drop in business confidence yet since the strikes and the global economic decline, but our responsibility is to ensure that we do not reach a crisis point. A decrease in domestic business confidence, so to say, will result in lower investment and job creation. Lower foreign investment can raise the cost of government borrowing, since foreigners hold about 37% of all rand-denominated debt. These are just some of the difficulties we can find ourselves in should we delay in finding solutions to the labor disputes. The rights of workers and employers are guaranteed in the Constitution of our country and are also catered for in legislation. We have adequate mechanisms to resolve disputes in our country. We therefore call on all parties to the labor disputes to redouble their efforts in order to find amicable solutions to the current problems. We must get the economy back to full steam and create the jobs that our people so desperately need. Together, we also need to deal with the wrong perceptions about our country or the economy locally and abroad. On the 27th September 2012, the rating agency Moody's downgraded the country's long-term foreign currency rating and local currency rating and maintained the outlook at negative. Some of the reasons cited by Moody's are not new to government. They have been the focus of many official government publications, including the Budget Review and our National Development Plan. In confronting these issues, government is already implementing concrete actions. These include the following. We are investing in infrastructure to create capacity in our networks. We are reducing the deficit and stabilizing debt that we deal with. We are instituting a range of measures to improve the competitiveness of the manufacturing sector, including regulatory reforms and competitiveness. We are investing in education and skills development. We are convinced that our policies and interventions as government, our strong, tried and tested democratic institutions, as well as dedicated and patriotic leaders in government, business, labor, and the community sectors, will enable the country to emerge from the current phase sooner and stronger. I've convened a meeting of business, labor, and community representatives tomorrow in Tshwane to discuss what can we do together to get our country out of this current situation. Working together within the NEDLAC framework, we were able to extricate the economy from the 2009 recession and saved jobs. We should be able to achieve the same objectives this time around. We are going through a rough patch, like a number of other economies around the world. We will work together to get things back on track. But I think it is important to underline one point, ladies and gentlemen, that South Africa is a democratic country with very strong institutions, including the framework of dealing with disputes between employers and employees. There are things we should, all of us, speak in one voice and indeed agree on and work on them. The culture of violence in strikes and demonstrations does not tally with our principles of democracy. The right to demonstrate and strike is a respected right, is enshrined in our Constitution. If we exercise that right, we must not undermine the rights of others in the process of exercising our right. That will be a democracy that would have matured. The destruction of property, the beating up of other people and killing them is not acceptable. Some of the trucks that have been burned are not actually trucks that belong to huge companies, are trucks that belong to individual small business who are not able to have other trucks easily after this. So in this sense, our anger, the manner in which we handle our conflict affects other people very badly. And I think all of us as leaders in business, in politics, and in the community and labor, we should discourage such activities. They are not good for our country. We must build South Africa. Today, I would like to send out a clear message to investors, locally and abroad. South Africa is open for business, is a destination for investment. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency the President of South Africa, President Jacob Zuma, thank you very much indeed, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us, particularly around business and the industrialization or re-industrialization of business to include and create a new platform for black business.